Greetings everyone, and welcome to another Sol at the Movies. I just got back from seeing Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero by Fun Academy Motion Pictures, and here are my thoughts on it. So Sergeant Stubby is the true story of a stray Boston Terrier that served in the military in World War I and was on 17 battles and helped the American soldiers by alerting them about mustard gas bombings and helping out the American soldiers. So this is a true story. I'm sure it's a dramatization though, because, it's a movie, and when they say based on a true story, usually that means it's dramatized. Although, based on the events in the movie, it does seem like they tried to hit all the key points of Sergeant Stubby's story, so that's fine. The plot is fine, I would say. I mean, it's not particularly traditional. It's funny how this is two animated movies in a row that are about dogs. Isle of Dogs, though, as I said before, was not really for me. It just didn't click with me. This movie, it clicks with me a lot better, and I think it's because the dog and the people in it actually show some fucking emotion. But this is not a review of Isle of Dogs, this is for Sergeant Stubby. So as for the characters, there's Robert Conroy, who's a good old American soldier, just very plain, generic soldier boy serving in World War I. I don't have anything bad to say about him, but I don't really have anything good to say about him. He's just middle of the line, sort of generic. There's his other soldier mates as well as brothers in arms, I guess. There's Schroeder, who is a German soldier, but he's serving in the American military. And he looks exactly like the medic. If the medic from TF2 was like 10 years younger, the only difference is Schroeder's hair is blonde, but the medic's hair is black. But seriously, it's the same glasses, same hairstyle, it's fucking crazy. Like, he's the medic from TF2, just with a bit less over-exaggerated German accent. There's also Olsen, who's like the redhead. I don't know if he's supposed to be Jewish. I mean, he's got the nose and the hair and everything like that, but I'm not entirely sure. He's just kind of there, too. I mean, again, nobody in this movie is unlikable. I'm just saying, he's just kind of there. There's also Gaston, who's a French soldier. Again, he's kind of nice, big plump man, but they just don't leave too much of an impact on me. Of course, they are technically the main characters, even though the movie is about Sergeant Stubby the dog, and he's adorable. I mean, I love dogs, and the thing I like about Stubby the most is that he acts like a dog through the entire thing. Now, when I was researching this movie a little bit, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna be acting all like a human all the time, just like pointing and laughing along with people and haha dogs are funny kind of thing. But no, he does act like a dog. Like when he wants food, he's all crawling all over him and rolling around, and he communicates purely through the way a dog would, and I appreciate that. He isn't some cartoonish depiction, albeit maybe the saluting, but dogs could feasibly do that if you train them properly to raise their paw like that, so I'm not gonna knock the movie for that. So yeah, I appreciate that Sergeant Stubby is like a dog. Now, what's good about this movie? It's well animated for the most part. It looks like it was made in Maya, though it's got sort of that soft skin texture, big cartoony eyes, colorful eyes kind of thing going on. Although I don't think it was animated in Maya, but it certainly looks like it. Still though, I think it looks really good. The textures are very nice, I do appreciate it, and the lighting seems to be good. I just would have appreciated a little bit more grit, because it's World War I after all, one of the biggest conflicts in the entire world ever. And actually, that brings me to my biggest negative point. This movie is about World War I, but it's rated PG, so that means no blood, no violence. Well, there's a bit of violence, but no like physical violence. Nobody gets shot. In World War I, nobody gets shot. Everybody is always wounded. They're never killed. The World War I had something like 70 million casualties. I'm probably wrong about that. That sounds way too high. But after everything like that, I think it's like military casualties were like 7 million or something like that. You know how many people die in this movie? One person dies, and he dies off screen too. I'm not gonna say who it is. One person dying in a movie about World War II, just... It's bad, okay? I think this movie really could have benefited from being PG-13. They could have added more blood, more violence, really shown the grit and terror of World War I, because I've never seen an animated movie made about World War I. It's really a topic that animation tends to avoid. Usually, if it's animated, they go for World War II. But no, this is the first thing I've seen about World War I, and I appreciate that. But it just feels so bland. Like, it's just nice countrysides, but some bombed out areas and a nice French village and everything like that. But yeah, you would expect the battlefields to be like really gritty, like hard browns and just loads of rubble and everything like that. But it's kind of there, but not really. So I just think that it really could have benefited from upping its rating. Of course, they would have drawn less kids, but it's not really a kids movie. I mean, it doesn't have any swearing or anything like that. It's got a big old, like, apple pie, Johnny, America Town kind of thing going on here. Despite the fact that it was made in Canada, and there's no Canadians in it, which is weird, but anyway, it's got, like, a wholesome core, but it's about World War I, so it should be more violent. The fact that everyone is wounded and you don't get... Like, there's a scene where Stubby gets injured, and they're like, oh, the injury's big, he might die, that kind of thing. There's no visible injury anywhere on him. And when they show later he's all bandaged up in one area, there's no wound. Like, there was no wound there at all. And even one of the soldiers gets wounded, and you never see where he's wounded. He's just like, oh, I'm wounded, oh no. And then they take him away, and he just comes back later. So, nobody dies. Except for that one guy. It's odd. I just think, like, trying to child-friendly up World War I seems really stupid to me. Something else that's really stupid is, the movie's pretty one-sided, I have to say. It's a lot about the Americans and the French glory. I mean, for the vast majority of the movie, you don't even get to see any German soldiers' faces. Also, all of the French people speak English. Every single one of them. They have French accents, but they all speak English all the time, except maybe like a merci or something like that every now and then, but all the German soldiers speak German. None of them speak English. So I just feel like the movie is trying to dehumanize the Germans, but you know, they talk about the boys, the young boys going off to fight the war and everything like that, and it's all sad, and they were doing in the line of duty. Well, so were the Germans. You know, they were German boys, and they were going to fight a cause that they believed in, or you know, other circumstances. There's this one scene where you do get to see a German guy's face, and Robert is all like, oh my god, we're the same, kind of, but it's not expanded on at all. They're just like, and then that's the whole scene, pretty much. So, I think that it really could have benefited from being a bit more gray, but it's PG, so we can't have any moral gray areas, that's too scary for children. I mean, I appreciate that Sergeant Stubby himself is not deadly Dennis diseased up to shit. He is cute, but in a genuine cute way, not in a horrible boss baby, give us your money, we want money kind of thing. I do appreciate that. Although, the first scene involving the French soldiers has them eating cheese and drinking wine. So, let's just say that it's not the most humble depiction of the French, although I do appreciate them showing that the French people are brave as well. You know, cartoons tend to depict French people as just stinky, cheese-eating cowards, you know, that kind of thing. So I appreciate that it shows the valor of the French soldiers as well. I just wish they could have showed that from the Germans. The Germans are like the fucking hellgassed in this movie. They got the gas masks on, all they do is speak German, you only ever see one of their faces. It's really one-sided, it bothers me. But at its core, I think this is a good movie. I can tell that this is a movie they wanted to make because they wanted to tell the story of a heroic dog who served in World War I. This wasn't like let's make an Oscar baity tearjerker to loosen the money from everyone's wallets. It never gets to that point at all, and I do appreciate that. It just seems like a story they really wanted to tell, and it's nice. It's not a setting or a story I see that much in animation, and I do appreciate that. One other thing I can criticize, though, is that there's this really obnoxious narrator throughout the entire thing. It's supposed to be Robert's sister, but you never see her in the movie, so she just talks over parts where it's like, oh no, he's got the Spanish flu, that kind of thing, we all thought he wouldn't survive, and it's like, but you weren't there, you know, like, I get it, you're talking about Robert's letters to home, but I just think it was foolish. The movie did not need a narrator, okay? We have eyes in our heads, we can see what's going on. So, it stumbles a lot, I say, but the attempt is very earnest, and I can't fault it for that. I mean, they tried. There's a bit of plot diarrhea in the beginning, but nothing too severe. It's just like, the faults of this movie just don't really seem to bug me all that much, except for the fact that only one person dies and there's no blood, no shooting anybody. They have guns, you know, they shoot the guns, but nobody ever gets hit by bullets. Nobody ever gets stabbed. There's this whole scene with mustard gas, and it's like, shit, that's probably the best scene in the movie, is the mustard gas scene. And, you know, nobody dies in it, even though it's like, they bomb the city, or they bomb the trenches with mustard gas, and then the mustard gas goes over this little village, and everyone's like, oh my god, got our gas masks on, everything like that. And then the mustard gas passes, and everyone just walks outside and takes their gas masks off, like, seconds later. It's like, you don't think you want to maybe just wait, like, an hour and make sure it's gone? What about all the other people farther away where the mustard gas is blowing down that Stubby didn't warn? They don't know about it, they're gonna die. I don't know, it's just... Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell a story about a heroic dog who helped serve in the military, kept people's morale up, and helped the wounded, caught German spies and everything like that. I get it. But World War I is too gray of a concept. It's too gray of a story for a PG movie. I just think the idea of trying to child-friendly up a massive, deadly clusterfuck of a conflict like that is foolish. So, I won't fault them for trying, the creators. I'm not going to fault them for trying. I just think that they really should have tried to make it more appropriate for the people who'd be interested. If they had made it more adult and showed a bit more of the grayness of the conflict, you know, the German soldiers were fighting for a cause too. They were humans too. They're not the fucking Hellgast. They're not Nazis either. So, just, I don't know. Like, would I recommend this movie? Yes, I actually would, and I'm surprised I didn't see any advertisements for it. In fact, if it hadn't been for Animat's Twitter post, I wouldn't have even known this movie existed. It wasn't on any of the animated film calendars I saw, so thanks, Animat. But yeah, like, I never saw a trailer for it, never heard about it, until the day before it came out. So, that's sad, because I would recommend this movie. I did enjoy it more than Isle of Dogs, despite my big, glaring flaw with it. I would say that because of its earnest nature, and because it tries to do something a little bit different, I would say it's worth it. You know, even if you aren't going to see any thought-provoking imagery or, you know, any violence, you're not going to see a realistic depiction of the war itself, but you will see at least a faithful representation of Sergeant Stubby, at least from what history is recounted, so that's fine, I guess. Is it the worst? God, no. Is it the best? No. I would say it falls pretty much right in the middle, but I did enjoy it more than Isle of Dogs. And that's all I have to say about that.